Hey book nerds, it's Kirsten and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a really exciting video to share with you guys. That is opening a very special piece of book mail. I'm so excited, but before I get started, I just want to say the biggest thank you and a huge shout out to Jessica from One Book at a Time. She is a fellow Canadian bookstagrammer who has also just started her booktube channel, and a little while ago I expressed my desire to send an ARC request letter, and she basically was just like, go for it, why the heck not? The worst that can happen is they say no. And so I did. I sent the letter. Today's video is just the results of that letter. So a huge thank you to Jessica for being awesome and supportive. I will leave her bookstagram and her booktube channel linked down below, and everybody should definitely check her out. So without further ado, because I'm just so excited that I might start screaming, let's open this really awesome package. Spoilers! It is from Hatchet Book Group, specifically from Little Brown Books. I sent them a request letter just expressing how much that I love their publishing company. I love so many of the books that they have come out with, especially recently, and just to show my interest in a few of their upcoming titles. And so I know what is in this and I'm really excited. Today's video is really exciting because even though I have received ARCs in the mail before, they were all from giveaways that I won on things like Instagram or from the publishing house. And so today's package is the first bit of mail from a publishing house that I am opening that was specifically meant for me. And I'm just so excited to be doing this and to be sharing it with you guys. And I'm also really excited for the books that I know that are in here. Kirsten with sharp things on camera. This was a great idea. So there are two books in here that I'm just so excited for. I cannot wait to show you guys. The first book that I have to show you guys today is a copy of Dear Evan Hansen. This is by Val Emmich, Stephen Levinson, Benj Pasek, and Justin Paul. This is of course the novelization that is based on the musical. So as I'm sure most of you know, this book follows our character named Evan Hansen. I was instantly very interested in reading this because of all of the hype surrounding the musical. I'm so excited to really delve into the story. My best understanding of it is that we follow Evan as he goes from kind of an invisible nobody to somebody because he receives a letter and starts to lie about having known this notoriously troubled side character who is now passed away. He pretends to be Connor's secret best friend, and then this lie leads to an entire spiral of events happening. He starts to help people, he has a website, he gets sort of accepted by Connor's family and his girlfriend, and I am just so excited for this YA adaptation of the musical that had everybody just so wrapped up in it. I know it is a coming of age story that centers around grief and loss and isolation and connection, and I'm just so happy to have this in my possession and I cannot wait to start reading it. And the next book that I have to show you guys today was one of my most highly anticipated books of the year, and I am so excited to have this copy in my hands. I will start reading it today, and that is Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. So Strange the Dreamer was one of my absolute favorite books of the year last year. I ended up having sort of a weird experience while reading the book because when I picked it up, I didn't realize that it was going to be a series. I thought it was just a standalone story, and so when I was 20 pages from the end and there was all of this shit hitting the fan, I was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to wrap up this story? We of course did not wrap up the story because it was the first book in a series, and I was just so shook at the end that I have been holding my breath waiting for the sequel to come out. And now it is here and it is in my hands, and I am just so excited to start reading this book. As this is a sequel, I do not want to share too much of the plot in this one, but I will tell you about Strange the Dreamer, even though I am sure you have all heard plenty about it. So Strange the Dreamer was the first book in what I think is going to be a duology, and it is by Laini Taylor. Laini Taylor is of course like a queen and a goddess of the YA fantasy sort of community. In the first book, we follow our main character Lazlo, Strange, as he is sort of like an orphaned character. He doesn't have a last name, and so they give him the name Strange. I loved him as a character because he was the perfect example of scary, tough, like intimidating dude bro looking character who was like soft and gooey marshmallow teddy bear inside. One of my favorite parts about like his physical description in the entire story is that he is super intimidating because of his broken, crooked nose that makes him look like he's been in a lot of fights, and like that he's this really tough character that's always looking for trouble, when in reality he broke his nose by dropping a heavy book on his face when he was reaching for it up on a top shelf. And I'm sorry, if that isn't the most on-brand thing I have heard about like the book community, then I don't know what is. So our main overlaying plot is that Lazlo is trying to find the lost city of Weep, which for some reason he has like slight recollections of, while nobody else really does. The name of the city has been forgotten largely by everyone, and so everybody calls the city Weep. I loved Strange the Dreamer. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was this beautiful fantasy universe, and it was just so descriptive and wonderfully written, and the characters were all just so diverse and complex with their own set of flaws and strengths. I loved the romance that was like really developing between 2 of our main characters. I loved the old school polytheist god universe that it was set in, and I absolutely loved the magic system that was sort of in place. I was so shaken up by the ending, and I was just on the edge of my seat waiting for the sequel to come out. So I am so excited to pick up the story with Muse of Nightmares. So these are the 2 physical books that I got from Little Brown Books. I expressed interest in 3 books and received these 2 physical copies in the mail. However, unfortunately, they were out of advanced reader copies of The Wicked King, which is the 3rd book that I requested. The Wicked King is the sequel to The Cruel Prince, and it is another of my most highly anticipated books of the year. Though actually, I guess technically it comes out January of next year, so it's maybe not actually like the most highly anticipated book of this year. They sent me a download link for the electronic copy, and so I will also be able to read that in advance and review it, and so I am so excited to have these 3 highly anticipated reads in my possession, and I cannot wait to read them. So stay tuned for my reviews. I'm sure they will be up very soon because these are 3 books that I just cannot wait to pick up. So thank you guys for sticking with me for this really exciting video. I am going to end it here because I cannot wait to edit it and get it posted. The hugest thank you to the people over at Little Brown Books for sending me these advanced readers copies. I cannot wait to read them. If you are as excited as I am to read any of these books, then you should definitely let me know in the comments down below. But I'm gonna end this video now so that I can go and read. Bye! Oh my god, I'm dying. Oh my god, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying.